Hi, everybody, and welcome again. I'll tell you something. I am so excited about these webinars because I'm constantly finding new things to help you get prospects. And you know as well as I do, prospecting is the name of the game. Without prospects, you can't make sales. And remember, with the prospects, it's all about building relationships. This is what makes the big difference. But I'm going to go over 3 new items for you to do. And if you do this, you're going to get 20 new prospects per month that on the 3 items I'm going to show you. Again, here's just a little bit of an outline of what I am all about. If you're new to knowing about me, just pause your thing right now, and when you get the link, all of you are going to get a link to this webinar so that you can watch it over and over in your leisure. So don't panic and think that everything is just going to be this next 45 minutes or so. So keep that in mind. So if you want to read about me, you could just put pause and then you can get it here. All right. Why LinkedIn is a gold mine for prospecting. Number one, it maintains a professional identity for the individuals. You can make useful contacts, search for opportunities, and stay in touch. Do you know that 4 out of 5 LinkedIn members drive business decisions? That means 4 out of 5 individuals that you communicate with and build that relationship with are business-driven owners, and they do make the business decisions for that business. And 39% of the members on LinkedIn are all senior level executives and above. I mean, that to me is phenomenal because you're going to get 39% of all this here happening for you. And 28% of the members are responsible for managing their budget. So they're the ones that are responsible for seeing if they could afford your services. LinkedIn members are active, influential professionals in a business frame of mind. They use LinkedIn to learn about new products and services. They keep up with the industry trends, research companies, network with peers, and conduct business as a whole. So this is why people use LinkedIn. But LinkedIn reaches a unique audience. 83% of LinkedIn users do not visit Pinterest. 59% of LinkedIn users do not visit Google. 58% of LinkedIn users do not visit Twitter. Tell that to Donald. 13% of LinkedIn users do not visit Facebook. So this is very, very important as we go on. But LinkedIn is a powerful network with over 400 million professionals who are also consumers. The buying index shows that LinkedIn members have the highest buying power compared to other social networks. Understanding your connections and an effect on your ability to communicate on LinkedIn. All of you know you got all these 3 different degrees. People you're directly, on the first level, you're directly connected because they've accepted your invitation and you can send them a message anytime you want. Your first level people, this is why it's important when you do the connection messages in the future to get them to your first degree, because now you're going to be able to access their personal emails. Then you got your second and third degree people that you want to bring to your first level. But key strategies to help convert LinkedIn connections into prospects. The key areas to optimize on your profile are your headline, your summary, your contact info, your experience, and job description. Again, you want to build your first level connections. You want to join other LinkedIn groups. You want to create your own LinkedIn group. Now, as I'm going over all these webinars for you, you're probably going to feel a little bit overwhelmed. Please don't, because at the end of this of the webinar, I'm going to give you a solution when I introduce John Davern, and you're going to really be excited on how you can make all this happen and how you can get all these prospects every single month, and all you have to do is just follow up and build that relationship. Or if you want John to do that and his people, that could happen also. But keep your profile alive and engaging. Here's some additional techniques. Endorsements. In a previous webinar, I went over sending out the connection messages on LinkedIn. Once someone accepts your connection request on LinkedIn, you want to now send them your connection acceptance thank you, in which you thank them for connecting with you. And again, I covered that in my previous webinar. If you are still confused about it or what have you, get the link again and review it. Now, as the next step, you should also endorse your connections. To access your connections, click on My Network on the new format that just came out with. You're going to click on My Network on the top of your page, and then you click on Connections. All right, then you click on See All. It's right over here. See all your connections. All right, now what's going to happen is you're going to click on Recently Added, and now what's going to show up are your connections. So now you click on Francisco Camacho. So you click on that name. Now you've got all these different skills that you could endorse them for. So just click on the plus sign for management and or other ones, and then click on, you'll see whichever ones you want to endorse. You could do one, you could do them all. All right, you could click on View More, and there's 26 more on this one, and you just click on the plus sign to endorsement, and it'll change the plus sign will change to a check mark rather, indicating you've endorsed them. You then want to repeat this process with the rest of your recently added connections. So on every one of your new connections, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go to My Network, See All, and then the next one is Martin Zwilling. What I normally do is I normally have a sheet of paper where every time I would write Don Roberts as the last one that I did. So on Don Roberts, I know that anybody that's added since Don Roberts, before that, tomorrow, I know I'll go down to Don Roberts. But anyway, the next one you want to hear is Martin Zwilling. So you click on that, and then you got the connections you endorse. Every one of them now will get a notification from LinkedIn that they've been endorsed by you. They will be able to see the notification by clicking on the notification icon on top. You can see on the right-hand side where I have it, it says a number 1 on it. And a certain number of connections, by the way, you endorse will send you a thank you endorsement back by clicking the Say Thanks, which will send you a thank you message. And again, the whole concept and process is to open up the door again for additional methods of communication to build that relationship, which is so strategic in prospecting. So now you click on Say Thanks, and the message button comes up, and Kelly will send you back the message. Thanks for endorsing me for payroll. Now you're going to get a message on the top. See on the right-hand side it says messaging, and it's got a number 1. You'll be notified of a new message on the messaging icon. You click on the messaging icon to see a person's thank you message that they're responding to. Then you click on the message. Then just right-click and paste your message thanking them that your endorsement was your pleasure, and the greatest endorsement I could give you would be a referral. And again, it's just opening the door for them to respond back to you. All right, endorsements can be seen on the profile page by scrolling down to the feature skills and endorsements. So you click on your name, view profile, and this is where they come in. And you can click any of your listed skills to see who has endorsed you for that skill. All right, you could also add a new skill if you want to give others additional skills. You could do up to 50, by the way, to endorse. So by default, endorsements are visible, and this shows you the people who have endorsed you for leadership. All right, you could also slide the button from the left to make the endorsement from a particular person not visible. And the only time you want to, I never use that, but if you ever want to make them non-visible, you can. So here's some additional techniques. So that's number one, is the endorsements. So anyway, here's an additional technique, a birthday message that I want to show you. What you want to do is click on your notifications on the top right-hand side when you go into your LinkedIn account, and then you click on see who's celebrating. And then what's going to happen on the right-hand side is going to list all of those that say happy birthday. Now this is the new format that LinkedIn went in. Remember, it was easier last time. You just clicked on my network, and then it just listed the birthdays and the congrats. It's no longer there, so we're going to do it this way. So you click on say happy birthday, all right? And so you click on the notifications, see who's celebrating, click on say happy birthday. And again, in this case, you want to message those with upcoming birthdays. So you can just do it for everybody that has a birthday. So now you click on say happy birthday, and this is what's going to show up. And then you want to just copy, I would like to wish you a happy birthday. The greatest birthday gift I could give you would be a referral. Please let me know who your ideal referral would be. So it's just copy and paste in these messages. And after you click happy birthday, that's when you start to build a relationship with them. Most of the time, you'll get a message from them telling you who their ideal referral would be. You now can send them a message telling them when you see someone like that, you will refer them to them. Or you could go to their profile and under contact and personal, which is here, all right, where it says show more. You want to, then you'll see their contact info. So you can just get their phone number and everything like I told you before, putting all this in your contact list, in your, whether it's whatever your contact list is in, constant contact, whatever. You just put their information in there. But anyway, now you've got the ability to get their phone number. All right, so that's important. All right, you could hear my phone going off in the background. Sorry about it, I didn't turn it off. Anyway, so you want to show more, and now you've got the profile on the right-hand side. You've got the phone number. So now you want to take the phone number, and you could give them a call and just simply say, thank you for letting me know who your ideal referral is. Why don't we get together for a cup of coffee, and I can find who else would be an ideal referral for you. I mean, this is so ideal. It's a no-brainer, and it's really it's not putting stress on anybody. Now you got the congrats message. The next technique, again, is congratulating them for any event, like a job anniversary or what have you. Connection Celebrate, this can be found. You click on notification again, scroll down to find any notification on the right-hand side where it says say congrats. All right, then you click on say congrats. All right, this is what's going to show up, and now you're just going to copy and paste in its place. You're going to delete this say congrats, and you're going to put your generic one in. My congratulations, and again, the greatest congratulation gift I can give you would be a referral. Please let me know who your ideal referral would be. And then you send it. All right? So with these additional 3 items, the endorsements, the birthday, and the congratulation messages, I personally get 44% response rate. I mean, on average, the subscribers that I share all this with tell me they get an average of 20 new prospects per month just doing these 3 things. So everybody is on LinkedIn for one reason only, to get referrals. I'm sure you'll all agree with me on that. Remember, it's all about building a relationship. You don't want to go into a selling mode immediately. You want to build this relationship. And with our messages, you've just opened the door for them to bond with us again. And I keep going over these in all the future webinars. It's going to be the same thing where I'm going to show you a concept where you're going to get the individual to bond with you. But here's some important tips. You're better off making sales than doing the techniques, tasks that I mentioned in the last few webinars and also this one. You'll want to hire a virtual assistant to do this for you. Seriously. A VA spending a few hours a day to send LinkedIn connection messages, sending meetup welcome messages, sending LinkedIn endorsements, birthdays, congrats, and messages, and set up appointments for you. This is critical. Why? Because there are so many benefits of using LinkedIn. It's an inexpensive way of building your pipeline and building your community. More prospective clients, by the way, you get by joining groups and sending new connections. You get a systematic way of doing lead generation and increasing referrals from your new connections. According to my subscribers, all right, again, they're getting up to 44% response rate just on these 3 messages, the 3 concepts I just went over, the endorsements, birthdays, and congrats. For example, if you or a VA send out 100 messages per month, you'll get up to 44 prospects to present your product or service to. I mean, my whole concept in sharing all this with you is creating more customers. I have a new format that I'm creating for all my coaching members and what have you, for delivering training content and to my subscribers. And within the next couple of months, I'm going to be launching that. Now, if you want to indicate you'd like to be on the first ones notified of the upcoming launch of the new delivery platform for training materials, just email me at kenpbg@aol.com. That's K-E-N, Peter Boy Girl, @AOL.com. And I'm going to continue doing free webinars on marketing and business building techniques, topics, and how to create more customers. So it's going to be an ongoing thing, and I know all of you are going to be very excited to be at the future webinars and all. But it's all going to be easy to implement. You might think you're overwhelmed right now, all right? But you need a virtual assistant to help you generate prospects without you having to spend all the time doing it. My VAs are just creating prospects for me, and they'll present it to you to present your product or services, you know, who to present them to. I've been using a virtual assistant talent for many years now, and I found them to be very, very profitable. I mean, the VAs can help you grow your network by helping create and optimize your LinkedIn profile for searchability. They can send your connection messages. They can search for and join LinkedIn groups containing your prospects. They can post interesting articles to your LinkedIn groups and on your status. They can set up appointments for you, by the way, managing your calendar. They can create and send out your newsletters. They can manage your contacts and email marketing. They can update your website content, blog, and to make it more worthwhile for people to find out about you. They can manage your social media marketing campaigns and accounts. They can increase your website traffic and search ranking, and trust me when I say this, and much, much, much more. VAs create prospects for you to present your product and services to. I'm going to introduce John Davern now, and this is a little bit about John. But John, why don't you come in and take over? And I hope everybody's just going to continue to stay on, because what John has to say to you is very, very critical and important, and will add a lot of profit to your bottom line. John?
Okay, thank you, Ken. My pleasure to be with everybody on the webinar today. I'm going to go ahead and start presentation on my end. So I've known Ken for several years, and Ken has been using our virtual assistant services for several years as well. And just a little bit about my background and how I got started. You know, a lot of these techniques that we've been showing on the webinars, these are techniques that we have the virtual assistants do for us, and sending the connection messages and building our network, or the 3 techniques that we've done today that we've just showed you. These are techniques that you can do yourself, or that you can have a virtual assistant do. And just a little bit about my background, how I got started is I came from a corporate background, and I know this call is set up for business owners and entrepreneurs, real estate agents, real estate investors, and really just small business owners in general. But when I got started, I had a corporate background, and with my corporate background, though, I always felt I wanted to have my own business and to start my own business. And what happened with me is I was working at Home Depot, actually, in corporate, working about 55 hours a week, but at the same time, I wanted to be a real estate investor. And while I was working my corporate job, I started a real estate investing business. I was watching all the flipping houses seminars and was sending out postcards to people, posting ads on Craigslist indicating that I'm interested in buying homes, and that was kind of part of working in the home improvement industry with being in working at Home Depot and HR. I felt I could fix houses and flip them, and so I got involved in doing that. And one of the things, though, that happened with me is when I was trying to work a corporate job and also try to operate my own business, I was getting very little sleep. I was probably working 55 hours a week at my corporate job and then trying to manage my real estate business, and I was missing phone calls from people. I was really struggling to do both at the same time. And fortunately, at that time, one of the real estate investment seminars that I went to introduced the concept of hiring a virtual assistant to help you generate leads for your business, to help you answer your phone calls. And that's exactly what I did. Was I implemented a virtual assistant in my business, and that was really able to help me out a lot. In fact, some of the first real estate deals that I got were as a result of a virtual assistant going on to Craigslist and doing a repetitive process of posting ads to Craigslist indicating that I'm interested in buying houses. They just kept doing that. They kept doing that, and I got responses, and that's how I was able to get one of my first wholesale deals was through the help of my virtual assistant. That gradually evolved, as I did a few more real estate deals with a virtual assistant. People started asking me, hey, John, we want to hire a virtual assistant as well. And that's what evolved into my virtual assistant business as you see it today. And so my company's been around for since 2009. It actually was around before that as a real estate business, but then it evolved into the virtual assistant business that you see today. And really what my purpose is to help business owners to grow their business without them having to put all their own time in it. And what I do is I work with business owners to find out from them what work needs to be done to run their business, what work needs to be done to grow their business, and then looking at that and can it be done remotely or virtually. And the whole purpose of that is to help them save time and help them scale. And myself personally, I've hired hundreds of virtual assistants, and I place virtual assistants with a number of different companies. And the whole thing is, people have a dream to be an entrepreneur, and the whole thing is to look at, well, as an entrepreneur, what are all the different things that you have to do, and how can you get a better lifestyle in doing that? Because there's a lot of this work and a lot of things that we do that we don't have to do. We can delegate that to others. So again, been around since 2009. I'm located in Silicon Valley, and help match virtual assistants with various different types of business owners. And we can do things across the board, whether it's the LinkedIn technique that we showed you today, or help you with digital marketing, SEO, social media, content writing, blogging, web design. It's amazing just the level of talent that is out there that's able to assist the small business owners and entrepreneurs in running our business. As I mentioned before, when I got started, I was working a corporate job 55 hours a week, and with managing my own business, at some point I was only getting maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep a day, sometimes even 2 hours of sleep a day, and all this was to try to grow my business. And I got introduced to, you might have heard about this, it was a book called The 4-Hour Work Week, and that was all about, you might want to look this up, it's a guy named Timothy Ferriss, and he talked about how he outsourced a lot of the activities in his life and how he used virtual assistants. And it's called the 4-Hour Work Week, and that really kind of touched me, because at that time, before I employed virtual assistants. I was on a more of a 4-hour sleep day. The virtual assistant, though, is a really powerful concept that can help leverage and duplicate your efforts and also allow you to focus and concentrate on the business building aspects, some of the things that maybe you do best and can do much better than other people. But it's all about improving your work-life balance, more time with your family, a healthier lifestyle, waking up and feeling rested. One of the things with this technique that we showed you today, could you imagine, and I've been using LinkedIn for several years now, and it remains one of the very effective techniques that I use in building my own business. But imagine going in and the majority of the work that you would need to do on LinkedIn has been done by a virtual assistant, someone who's done the footwork. They've connected with a number of people on LinkedIn, and you wake up in the morning and you've got responses in your inbox, leads or prospects that you can follow up. It can really help to transform your life and your business. So one of the things that I do, whenever we come up with a effective technique, is to look at taking that technique and standardizing the work. And you can do this with anything that's in your business. Let's say if you're a real estate agent and you need to post properties, as an example, on your Facebook page to promote those properties. That's a standard process that can be repeated. Or let's say you have a website and you're posting your different properties on your website. It's a repetitive process that you can do. There's different activities that you do in your business as a small business owner that it's possible to standardize those activities and give that list to somebody and have them do those repetitive activities to help you generate leads, whether it's lead generation work, or let's say it's just very busy administrative work. Or in this case, if we look at the LinkedIn activity, the 3 techniques that Ken showed you today, which are updated for the LinkedIn platform. If you all probably know that sometime towards the end of last year, October, November last year, LinkedIn started to roll out their new platform. And with that new platform, the look and feel of LinkedIn has changed, and they've rolled that out over the last several months. Those different tech activities or techniques, we look at how do we do these activities in the new platform. We've updated it for the new platform, and we find what's effective and what's working. And this particular activity that Ken showed you today is something that a virtual assistant can do for you. It's going to take you probably 1 to 2 hours a week, doing this, just going in on a daily basis, and it's a simple activity. It's just checking, okay, what are the new birthdays that my connections are having? What are the events that people are having, whether it's a new job or they're celebrating an anniversary at a job, and then doing the congrats message. I see some questions coming in. We're going to answer questions at the end of the webinar, which we're coming up through the formal part of the presentation pretty soon. But what the VA will do is they'll log into your account and they're going to endorse your new connections. And a certain number of those connections then are going to thank you for the endorsement, and you're going to reply back to them using the custom endorsement message. So they'll actually copy and paste that custom endorsement message. They're also going to check your account for connection birthdays and send out the custom birthday message. They're then going to check your account for connection events such as the new jobs and anniversaries and send the custom congrats message. And then once you get a positive response for follow-up of those showing a interest in your products or service or referring with you, they're going to notify you of that. And then what you're going to be able to do then is either, some people prefer to have they prefer themselves to contact that person directly. And in other cases, people have chosen, I have a lot of clients and customers that actually have the VA make the first call or connection to that client or customer. It just really kind of depends on you, your business model, and what you have time for. So this is an activity that we've standardized and there's an opportunity if you wanted to have a virtual assistant do this for you. We've actually created a standard program or standardized work for VAs to do this for you. And if you go to my website at virtualassistanttalent.com and select / the LinkedIn, you'll be able to see that service that we offer. Now, we had some previous webinars that talked about other techniques and strategies in LinkedIn, and you may have been invited to previous webinars for that, but we had another package that we offered on a previous webinar, which is the whole LinkedIn account setup. So for example, what if you have not really set up or established your LinkedIn account? What if you don't have very many connections? We also have a program for LinkedIn to do that for you as well, where the VA will actually go in and help you set up your account. They'll help you create your LinkedIn profile and do some footwork activities to help establish your profile, which could typically take the first week of activity. But it's there's a daily activity that we covered on a previous call, which is when you set up your LinkedIn account, you want to join 2 LinkedIn groups per day that would contain potential clients. So as an example, maybe you're as a real estate agent, as an example, maybe you do corporate real estate and you're looking for people who might sign corporate leases on corporate buildings or be interested in purchasing corporate buildings. You're going to connect with people who own businesses, as an example. Or maybe as you're a real estate agent, you may want to connect with a bunch of real estate investors or vice versa that are on LinkedIn. And so you look at groups that are going to contain your potential clients or your potential referral partners and join 10 groups as an example per week, up to the LinkedIn maximum number of groups, and monitor and replace those groups as needed with better groups that are responsive. And so this is kind of a daily activity that you could do yourself or that you could have a virtual assistant do. And again, after you join those groups, then you're going to send connection messages to people within those groups. These are strategic connections of people who would likely to be referral partners or people who you could get business from that you could convert into prospects. And so this was a previous webinar that we went over, and this service is available as well. If you go again to the virtualassistanttalent.com /LinkedIn, it's something that we can do for you. So I always look at, there was a survey done in Inc. magazine that talked about entrepreneurs on average. It's interesting, the statistic had not changed from 2006 to 2014. They did another article talking about entrepreneurs, how they work greater than 60 hours a week. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they try to escape the corporate job, but then replace that by working so hard in their business. And I always look at what activities am I doing, and how much is my time worth versus hiring somebody else. And you take a look at these, the information that I've put up here, which comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and Pay Scale. I kind of look at what are the activities that I'm doing in my business that maybe somebody else can do, and how much is my time worth. And here's just kind of I look at this to kind of gauge the value of my time. And if you look at, for example, an insurance agent as an example here, on a weekly, if they were to do this a LinkedIn task as an example, how much time would they spend on a weekly basis if they're going into their LinkedIn account for an hour per day on weekdays? Well, that would be $115 weekly and $460 monthly for that time. Or if an average salary of a real estate agent is what you can see at the midpoint might be $40,000 on a weekly basis if they were going into their LinkedIn account. Here's the value of that time. And or if it's a small business owner, average small business owner makes around $60,000 at the midpoint per year. On a weekly basis, if they were spending an hour per day, that's $142 that they're spending on a weekly basis, or $569. So what can they be doing? What can you be doing with your time that might be more valuable? And can you outsource this activity and pay somebody less to do that. That's kind of what I look at all the activities that I'm doing in my business, whether it's, you know, I could go to school and learn how to make changes to my website and look at the code and make my own changes to my website. I could go into my LinkedIn account and I could be on a daily basis connecting with people and responding to messages. But is that the best use of my time? This is kind of what I look at, you know, as to gauge the value of my time, and can I get somebody to do that to me for do that for me for less? Because there's only a certain amount of time in the day, and as I mentioned before, at probably one of my lowest points, I was only getting about 4 hours of sleep per day, and I think it's at some point it was as low as 2 hours of sleep per day, and when I'd get 4 hours, I'd be like, well, that's twice as much as 2 hours. So if we look at the previous package that I'd offered, this is a webinar that I did before. What's the cost of your time? You know, whether you're a real estate agent, insurance agent, small business owner, you can look at, here's how much it costs for me to do that activity. You could hire an office-based worker, and if you looked at the previous slide, you know, if you took a look at an admin person, you know, with minimum wages, you know, depending on your area of the country, and in localities here in San Francisco, a lot of localities, minimum wages, there's local laws where it's $15 an hour just to hire somebody who's administrative level. So look at hiring an office-based worker. Well, hiring a virtual assistant is a huge benefit, because you can get not only just somebody with administrative skills, but somebody who's college degreed, someone who in many cases, a lot of our VAs have come from management level positions in office-based jobs, and now they want to work from home. So highly skilled talent that's able to do that work. So if you wanted to, if your LinkedIn account really needs some work in terms of getting your profile ready and connecting and building your connections that you can connect with and refer to and prospect with, we have this starter package which is available for a cost of discounted cost of, instead of $49 a week, $44 a week, or a monthly cost of $176 with the promo code that we have available here. And again, you can get this by going through the virtualassistanttalent.com/LinkedIn and purchase the package. And it's important to note that it's 40% off less than an office admin in doing it this way. And you know, I came from a corporate background in human resources, and I can tell you the cost of a VA is less than, you know, what you pay for minimum wage. And if you hired somebody for $10 an hour, a person at $10 an hour is not going to know anything really as much as a lot of the VAs who have actually experience in writing content, or they have experience in even making changes to a website, or extensive use of Facebook, or if it's like a specific skill in real estate. And college degreed, it's definitely a higher level of skill that you get with a VA than you get with hiring somebody at a minimum wage level here. So it helps you leverage as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. You know, it can be very challenging. You can be in a tight budget, especially if you're trying to get your business off the ground, and that's where really the power of a VA can help you to expand. Okay, so this is a limited time promo discount, the Ken 5, Ken 10, Ken 20. If you're interested at all in that program or any other type of VA services, you can visit virtualassistanttalent.com/LinkedIn, or give us a call at 510-400-8006, or just email info@virtualassistanttalent.com if you have any questions, you know, about leveraging a virtual assistant for your business. I can tell you it's personally helped me when I was working a full-time job over 50 hours a week and trying to get my real estate business off the ground. It made the difference in, you know, really in helping my health and really being overworked. This was something that definitely helped me. Now, a lot of times in the previous webinars that I did with Ken, people were asking about, well, I want the VA to do other things for me. Maybe I need a VA to be more of an admin assistant to answer phone calls for my business, to follow up with customers, or to manage my social media account, or maybe you have a newsletter that you want to put out on a monthly basis. You know, as an example from myself, I put out a monthly a newsletter, and I talk to the virtual assistant. I discuss, hey, here's some topics, and the VA does the research, can come up with the content. I have a web person that posts the blog to the site. I have a web person that updates my website. There's so many different things that you can have a VA do for your business, and two kind of price points that I've seen here. For the non-technical VAs, we offer them starting at $8.20 an hour to do various different tasks that you might need them to do for the business. That's starting at $8.20 an hour, and we've got flexible packages for VAs to do non-technical tasks starting at $8.20 an hour, and then technical VAs who might do web design and maintenance, graphics, and IT and programming starting at $11.20 an hour. There's you know, as an example here in the Bay Area, there's web designers who are making changes to websites, you know, for $100 an hour in some cases. So it's really a great way to leverage, if you're on a tight budget as a small business owner, to leverage a virtual assistant. So our website again is virtualassistanttalent.com. I also do have a promo code as well, you know, associated with that. So if you call us, you can find out, for those that are on this call, to the end of the month, we've got a couple different promotions that are going on. Okay, so next we're going to turn it over to questions that people may have. And if you have any questions, you know, Ken has been leveraging my VA services for years, and he comes up with different ideas of what he has the VAs to, and so I've learned a lot, you know, from Ken. The LinkedIn techniques that we've been teaching, one of the first techniques that I learned from Ken on LinkedIn, he's been having the VA do that for 4+ years, and we're still using that technique. Now, some of the previous webinars, if you need to access the webinars, shoot me an email, and we can try to get you a link to that. We are going to be putting out some new content, so the webinars that we've done previously on LinkedIn, the platform has changed in November, December timeframe. So we're going to be putting out some new webinars that show the new way of doing things, but still the principles are the same. But if you had tried to access some of the previous webinars, you'll see some of the screens and ways to access information have changed with the new platform. Okay, so we're going to open up for questions. There's a couple ways to ask questions. Let me go ahead here. Okay, so if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand. There's a little, if you click, there's a little hand button that you can raise your hand with, and then we can take you off mute. There's also a questions icon that you can click to ask questions in the panel. And so we're going to open up for questions now. First question, so we've got a few in here. Okay. So we have one question is, how do you endorse someone when you don't know them? Your endorsement won't feel authentic. So that's one of the questions that came up. And Ken, go ahead, and if you want to jump in, you know, on any of these questions that we have here.
Yeah, one of the things, John, on that question, all right, is that you're already connected with that individual. So you already have the relationship. They've already accepted your first level connection. So HP, I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, let me know, and I'll try to explain it in greater detail.
And we've got another question on the endorsement. So Ray is asking a question or comment. Endorsements are not nearly as good as recommendations. Yeah, there is a benefit too. You know, we didn't cover this on this call, but you can also recommend people, especially if you've worked with them or done work. But kind of just a comment or observation on the use or value of doing recommendations versus endorsements. Of course, recommendations generally are going to require that you've spent more time with that person, because you have to actually type up some content, as you know, as far as your experience in working or doing business. But that is certainly an observation that that's another tool or technique that you can also build rapport with somebody, as if you work with them putting a recommendation. Okay, so Eric. Eric says, will a copy of the slides be available to the attendees? Yes, so for everybody who attended the webinar today, webinar is being recorded, and that's going to be available. I'm going to load that to the website and provide a link to everybody who's on this call. That'll probably be done shortly after this weekend. You'll get an email early next week with a copy of the actual webinar, which has the slides in it as well. So, okay. Here's a question from Anne. So Anne says, most of my connections are people I don't know. How do you feel about endorsing when you don't really know them? So that's a question from Anne.
All right. And I've never let that bother me. Again, going back, for the individual to accept your connection and for you to send them off the thank you message and everything, you're building that relationship. And an endorsement is just another way of building that relationship. And anybody who's on the line, I mean, if you feel that endorsing isn't for you, there are other strategies. You know, like I went over the happy birthday one, the congratulations one. So, I mean, there's many other ones if you don't feel comfortable. I have found it to be very, very valuable, the endorsement, by the way. So I hope that answered your question, Ed.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, that's if you wanted to try to put that into the context of, you know, LinkedIn and using a virtual assistant, if you just hire a VA in general and don't stick to it, we've standardized the work, but if you just stick to our VA services in general, we can come up with a custom program for anybody based on your comfort level, what you want to do with your business as well. So again, if someone doesn't feel comfortable with doing the endorsement of people that they haven't, you know, worked with directly, or don't have that comfort level, again, there's other techniques like the birthday message that can be used as well, or congratulating them as well. Okay, so this is a question from Eric. Are you working with one VA or many? So
you want me to answer that, John?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, then I can.
Okay. Yeah, I'm working with one VA for the connections and all the other stuff. But whenever I need specialized things to happen, like the creation of the website, the different functions to make a website more profitable, John always has other VAs that could help in that venue. Do you agree with me, John, on that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, when I first started out, I initially started out with, when I was working in real estate, I had one VA that worked for me for 40 hours a week, and that VA was a multi-talented virtual assistant that did a few things for me. First thing was they answered my phone anytime somebody called about real estate or a real estate deal. They answered my phone because they're working 40 hours a week. They also did all my Craigslist postings. They also did social media postings. They also managed one of my real estate platforms at that time, which was RealFlow and FreedomSoft, which were two of the softwares that were out, you know, several years ago. So they did pretty much everything. That was just one VA that I had working for me for 40 hours a week. And so for you, you can use, you know, VAs on a daily basis. You can use them for just a project basis, just if you have, you know, one thing that you need to do. So there's so much, you know, possibilities, you know, depending on your budget, what you want to do yourself versus what you want to outsource. But for LinkedIn, you know, there's one person in particular that I've been using to help me with my LinkedIn account and some of the repetitive tasks, you know, on LinkedIn. Of course, I go and I check my account as well and respond to certain things. but it just really kind of depends on what you need to have done. Is there so this is from Felicia. Is there a one-time to have a VA set up your profile on LinkedIn? I have a page, but need to have it customized to promote my business. I think, yeah, that's. I think you're asking, Felicia, if you could hire a VA to do that on a one-time basis, and yes, you can. If you contact, if you go to the virtualassistanttalent.com website, and you can fill out the contact form, or just give us a call at the 510-400-8006. We do project-based work too. So if there's something you need to be done, we do an estimate of, hey, here's how much time we think that it might take, and can work with you on that. You just pay for a project basis for something like that. For the VA, how can they maintain a local phone number when the assistant is calling for appointments? So that's from Brian. So Brian, yeah, that's a good question. So with our services, so we offer regular VA services, and most people choose either having a VA work for them for 10 hours a week or 20 or 40 hours a week. But if you purchase our VA services, you'll see on our website, depending on if you purchase at least the 10-hour a week service level package, you'll see in there that that includes a local phone number for your business. So that's valid as long as you maintain the minimum subscription service with us. So we provide that, and it's through Skype. So we set up a unlimited US and Canada calling plan for Skype for that VA, and we set it up in the area code of your choice. Now we have customers that are in Canada, we have customers in the UK, and we would set them up with, for example, if you're from a different country, we would, whatever Skype's availability is for a local phone number, we set the VA up for that, and we set up the caller ID so that local phone number appears if they're making phone calls, for you, especially on the appointment setting. So let's see if anybody has any more questions here. We're almost out of time. Let's just check to see if we've got any other raised hands. Okay. Just want to make sure. Again, if you have any other questions, you can shoot Ken an email message, or you can shoot myself a message as well, or give us a call. I'd be happy to help you. So it looks like I think we've gone through all the questions. Ken, is there? Let's see any. Oh yeah, here's one last question. Okay. Okay, someone joined late, so this is Amlaku. I joined late. Will you send the whole recorded audio and time of the webinar? Yes, we will send that out to you. I'll make sure we get that out to you. That's from Amlaku. Yes, we'll be sending that out to all the participants in the webinar. You'll get a copy of the webinar. So, okay.
John, also,
yes.
Brian asked the question, is this seminar the same as the others this coming week? And the answer is yes. On Friday, we're doing one for the insurance agent industry, and then next week, next week we'll be doing the one for the network marketers. Yeah,
we got actually, there's one tomorrow morning, which is so Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern is for insurance agents, and for the most part, it's the same. We'll mention some customized things for that, but we also have one then next week for network marketers. So there's a few speaking points that are different, but in general, the concept is the same, right? These are techniques in LinkedIn that you can use whether you're a real estate agent, real estate investor, entrepreneur in general, or insurance or network marketing. So overall, the presentation's the same. Some of the speaking points are a little bit different. So if you missed part of it, if you missed part of the webinar and you want to ask some questions, you're welcome to sign up for one of the previous, and we're going to get you out a recording of this one. Some of the previous webinars that we've done, were using the old LinkedIn platform, so we're going to be doing some new webinars, refresher webinars to reflect the new platform as well. So, all right. So good. Well, Ken, any other closing comments?
Yeah, I just want to mention, you know, most of you probably know that I just returned from my island retreat of Aruba after being on a beach bunk for 3 months. But what I did yesterday, I got back a week ago Sunday, and what I did yesterday was I did my return of investment while I was gone on the revenue that came in with my virtual assistant, and actually it came out to be 327% return. So everybody that's going to be hiring a virtual assistant should always look at the revenue that comes in versus the hours that are there and do the mathematics, and you're going to find your return of investment is going to really be rewarding.
Wow. Yeah, that's an amazing return on investment. And you know, the other important aspect of it too is the whole saving time. And I can tell you, you know, being a business owner, an entrepreneur, and somebody who started out trying to launch a business while having a corporate job, I can tell you, I feel for entrepreneurs and business owners. It's a lot of work, and trying to get that work-life balance in there, that quality of life in there, is something that's really important to me. And you know, I certainly feel for people who go through that, and that's why it's, you know, I just love the business of working with business owners and entrepreneurs, and looking at, you know, what are certain things that we can do to help outsource that work and improve the overall quality of life. To get more than 2 to 4 hours of sleep per day, you know, that's the goal, is to be able to spend that time with the family and wake up refreshed. And that's why I love the whole power of the VA business, to help on the entrepreneur side, but then also to help on the virtual assistants. There's so many people out there that need work, and this is a great opportunity for virtual assistants who want to work, you know, home-based and have a tremendous amount of talent to offer business owners as well. So, good. All right, well, thank you, everybody. We'll be getting out a recording to you early in the week. Next week, I'll be working on that over the weekend to get that out to you, and appreciate everybody being on the call. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, thanks.
And thanks, everybody, up for the call.